Hello dear ones and welcome to this video of mine. So what's in a name? Well, I would say everything is in a name. Okay, everything is a name because the name is your identity. It carries vibration. It carries a particular vibration that you have, that you carry inside of you. And we need to be very, very careful when we are giving a name to a child. Okay. And when you are asked, like for me, sometimes I'm asked to name a child of one of my clients. For example, he just messaged me, and that's what actually set my mind thinking. That he asked me is that what name would you give my daughter, so that is an extremely important and a very crucial and a very delicate job, I would say, giving a name. People just give names like that, oh wow, with the popularity, let's give this name, let's give that name, or something very weird. Also nowadays we get to hear very weird names also. But mind you, my dear parents who are going to name their babies, their children, just first do lot of research upon this name, because this name is your child's identity and this is going to shape your child. And how does this shape the child? Well, I can tell you is that the future of your child depends upon the name that you are giving to the child. Now, for example, I was given on birth, I was given many names because I was the firstborn. And so I was given the name Rama, I was given the name Sylvia, I was given the name Roshan, I was given the name Sharmila. There were so many names that were given to me. My God, all the relatives really took pleasure in calling me names, I would say. So, well, if I have to say, that name that went with me, what my friends used to call me was Sylvia. And so this name carries a vibration. And if you see the women who are called Sylvia, you will have a certain personality trait in them. Sylvie will be a bit different, though quite close to Sylvia, but there will be a kind of a personality that they will exhibit. For example, the Sylvias that I know, including myself, we can be like reserved. We can be quite independent in our thoughts. Inside of us, we are very independent. We don't like to be dependent. That is the first need for us. Then reserved, sometimes having real problems to express when it comes to emotions of love and affection. We can be a bit, a little bit tongue-tied vocally, but we will show it in our behavior towards a loved one, through our caring, for example. And Sylvias can be very good writers also. Like this name carries this personality, okay? Then I also see that they are women who just dislike gossiping. So you will not see a lot of Sylvias into like taking pleasure when gossiping is going on. Then we come to another name. For example, the name masculine name is Sanjay. Okay, for example, Sanjay, they will be very quick, very witty, and they're very good at understanding others. They can be very quick at understanding the feelings of others. They can appear very calm outwardly, but inside of them, they can be very, very nervous types, restless types, like, oh, there's something is going on, but outwardly, yes. And they have a very good sense of humor also. And you will see, take any Sanjays, wherever they are, and try to see, there will be these common traits that you will see in them. Then, for example, if I take the name Thomas, okay, now the Thomas, how they are, like I have known 6 to 7 Thomas, so I can make out like they have some common traits, and the common traits are that they are kind of very organized, very analytical thinkers, and like traditional also. Family matters a lot to these people. Then they are the kind of people who love to be organized, They don't, like they will test before, really getting into some kind of very strong commitments. They would like to test, and they are very organized. They can be very good at technical, computer fields also. Then they can be very good at, whatever needs deep thinking also, and analysis. So they can be very good in research works also. Yet the problems with them will be, again, like the Sylvias, they have the same catch. They have the problem where they cannot express themselves, and because of that, they can have problems in their relationships later on in life. The expression is very difficult for them. The expression, even the close to the very closest people, also they can't really express everything out. So that can block them. So you see those traits, what I'm speaking about, and you try to see all those people around also. Most common name is also Puja, that I see. How the Pujas are the girls whose names are Puja, very creative, a lot of sense of humor they have, and they can be very, how can I say, wanting to make changes. They will never stick to one job their whole life. They will always change their jobs, and they are very creative, so that spontaneity is quite a lot inside of them. But there is a lot of lack of patience. At one point they will say, I would like to do this, and then after some time, like, maybe I should do that. Like all the time there is some calling for them inside of them, that, oh, like I like to do this, but then after some time, oh, that seems to be better, or maybe I should do this. And they can do a lot of things because they have a good grasp over things also, but they have to be very, very careful, otherwise it can lead to some imbalances in them. So you see the name Puja, and I'm telling you the traits of these people, okay? And I also see that for them, they are kind of easygoing girls, also women with the name Puja, very easygoing and very generous and golden hearted ladies also. So you see that all those Pujas, you will see that they will have those kind of traits, okay? Of course, there are a lot of other things that come into the picture, but here we are speaking about the names only, okay? So you are that name. Can you imagine that? I get that particular identity. This identity was given to me at birth, okay? And then it continues, and this has shaped my personality also in some way or the other. A name is something that shapes you. There are particular characteristics and personality traits and behavioral traits also in that particular name. Now, what the other things that I have noticed in names is that, for example, when it comes to hiring for a job, a lot of common name people get hired very quickly, okay? Then sometimes a name can be an embarrassment also, like sometimes, people who have strange, like, those kind of names that can sound like a joke a bit, or they can sound like some kind of a slang also sometimes. So these how can I say, these particular names, will make that poor child who you have given this name to popular or unpopular while growing up. Can you imagine? Your popularity also depends a lot upon your name. At the beginning, it is all going like this, okay? So, for example, I would not take certain names because I really don't like that. It sounds like ridiculing someone, but it happens. Well, I used to work with little kids, and I used to see some children had certain name, and the others used to tease them, and that would really like make me wonder, like, come on, little ones, like they're your friends, you're supposed to treat them with respect. But that respect also at that time was not possible, and this would continue later in life. Okay, so this is your how do you say, this is your pass to your personality, your traits, your behaviors, your success also, because it, as I told you, it gets some kind of vibrations inside. It has a kind of a weight inside of it. For example, like another name, and it's a very common name in India, is Archana. Now, Archana, this name, if you are having this, they love to speak. They are quite talkative. They love to speak. They can be quite independent in their heads, okay? No dominating them. Then they can be quite sarcastic also when they are upset. These ladies can be extremely, extremely sarcastic. Then that desire for freedom of thought and action is very high in these ladies, whose name is Archana, okay? So, that full name is composed of lot of letters. This is why I said, if you have not watched my video when I spoke about how we speak, because that spelling, when we say spell your name, what are we saying? Spell your name. And what is a spell? I think in French it's a sort, right? So spell. So when we say spell your name, so every name has a spell upon it. It's a spell in itself. Some names have that magic spell, and some names don't have that magic in them. And this is how we are being very subtly and very invisibly, I would say, shaped by our names. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? I mean, I've always been very interested, whenever I meet someone and I get to know, first of all, I love to know when were they born because that gives me a lot of information about them also. And what is their name? That name. And then that I just, I focus on that, and I focus on the vibrations of that name. How many T's are there? How many L's are there? The more the T's, the more tough they can be, okay? The L's are more softer. The S is more softer also, yet ambitious ones, okay? The D is quite, like structured, organized kind of people, but still scattered also kind of people. So, they just, of course, lot of D's I'm saying, okay, not just starting with this spelling or your name starts with S or A or T. No, it's more complex than that for me, okay, because it's an entire thing, okay. And when you give your child a very long name, well, your child is going to have very funny short names that will be given to them by their friends or by the relatives. So you need to be very careful, my dear ones, when you're choosing the names. And today I was again focusing on this submarine titan that has gone missing. And honestly, I felt that was such a bad idea to name that submarine, which is going to see the Titanic debris, as Titan. Why do we have to do that? We didn't learn the lesson. It can be that name has carried that vibration is for the water vessels, is that whatever is named with that particular name, Titan or Titanic, is going to sink or is going to meet a fateful end. So when we are naming our organizations, when we are naming our company, when we are naming our house, yes, very, very important, okay, and especially, of course, the children, our babies, who we name, we have to be extremely careful, my dear ones. We don't realize. You say, oh, what's in a name? Well, I have to come to the conclusion. I used to be like you, saying, what's in a name? But yes, everything is in a name, my dear ones. Everything. I call you by a certain name. If I call you something else, you wouldn't listen to me because you know that that's not me. Hey, I call you Jaguar, for example. Hey, no, you can't call me Jaguar. I am, well, Jojo, for example, or whatever your name is. Yeah. So the thing is, we are so much identified with our name because we become that name. At the end of the video, I would like to say, we become that name, my dear ones. So we need to be very, very careful. Now, one of my fan followers, she has a particular name, and I told her it would be really good if you can change the first letter of your name and put an R instead of the P. And she was not really, she said no, but this and that, because I knew that this name, till she has it, she has a lot of complications in her life at a very young age, and this particular name is going to create lot and lot of mess in her life, because I have known n number of people with that name, and all those n number, you would not believe, it's not a mere coincidence, but all those n number of people, my dear ones, all of them had tough lives and had lot of health complications. So we need to be careful. We need to be careful about that. We need to be very, very mindful of what we are, calling our children, because afterwards it becomes a bit of a difficult thing. Of course, we have wonderful numerologists also who can suggest a name change also, because every letter has its own vibrations, and so every name will have its own vibrations also. And there we need to be very, very careful, because over here I was seeing that this particular vibration for this lady was creating a lot of hindrances in her success, because your career path, your success, your popularity, your personality, even the way you look, it all comes from that. It shapes you. It's actually very impossible to believe it, but it does shape you. Now take 10 people, okay, of the same name. Of course, the zodiac sign is going to impact a little bit, and then your upbringing impacts a bit, but those certain traits are going to be like that. Now, for example, I give you 10 tamarinds to eat, okay, but they are from different places. I give them to eat. You're going to taste each tamarind, okay. Yeah, nice. I like tamarind, but it has to be sweet. Yeah, the tartaric acid inside of it. Good for health, okay? A lot of vitamin C. Well, we are not doing any food stuff. I will speak about that later on. But then, that tamarind, you will taste one tamarind from one country maybe, then wherever you get, and different varieties. But then all those tamarinds will have that particular base notes, or those traits will be there in them, okay? Apples, raisins, cashews, almonds, okay? No matter where you take from them, they will have that particular taste. So in that way only, the names, people, you take them from anywhere in the world and then you put them together, or you study them, okay? If you are as passionate as me about names and stuff like that, studying the names, do that, and you will see what kind of characteristic is this person exhibiting, okay? How is the personality, how is this career path of this person, okay? And relationships, yeah, everything you see, and then you will realize that many of them will show the same traits no matter where they are in the world. With those names, they will exhibit those things. They might even end up into relationships which are very successful or very unsuccessful, as I told you about certain traits of certain names right now. People really don't realize that these are small things we feel, but they are extremely important and they have an extreme impact, okay? Impact it has, okay? So whenever you are making your name change, for example, be very, very careful. Don't do it for the sake of changing it, because it might change your life completely. If your life was in a mess, then yes, of course, it will be very good to make certain changes in your names, but otherwise, just for the sake of calling yourself something, don't do that, because you don't know what vibrations that name is going to get into your life and how it can shape your life also, okay? So just be very, very careful about it, because it's your identity and it's you when you are in this body on this earth at this particular time in this life, okay? And I would like to tell you something, is that your name is not just your identity, it is your ancestral vibrations also that it is getting. And your name is not just by chance. You were given that for a reason also. About that I will speak next time. So let me know what is your name. I would like to study it a lot. Yeah. And please do like, share, please do share this and let me know your views, my dear ones. And I shall see you next time. Until then, take good care of yourself. Bye bye. God bless. Bye.